Hello and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Joining me right here today is Alan Crozier. Alan, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
That is so good to hear. So why don't we get started by getting to know you a little bit and how you got started in music?
Well, I started many years ago when I got my first guitar, having been inspired by the Beatles and a lot of the folk artists at the time, Dylan particularly. But that was way back in the 1960s.
What is it about music that you absolutely love about it, Alan?
I just think it's something that is universal, that people can identify with, regardless of language. And I think it creates a connection for people. It creates memories. It creates time and place. And I think it has a profound effect when it's done well.
So what advice would you give somebody that might want to start doing music?
I guess the first thing would be to decide on what instrument you want to use, whether it's simply your voice or whether you want to pick woodwind, string, keyboards, doesn't matter. If you have that inspiration, pick your instrument, and then it takes a bit of dedication and work to get to the stage that you want to get to.
So I know you have some upcoming singles and stuff that you want to tell us a little bit about. Tell us about anything upcoming for you.
Well, the upcoming is a song which was released. Well, in fact, it was released last week on the 1st of March, called "Die Young as Late as You Can," and that has been receiving quite a bit of radio play in Europe, and I look forward to hearing some play in the US as well.
What do you like doing outside of music, Alan? Do you have any hobbies, interests, anything like that you want to share?
Yeah, rugby, football, photography. They're the two big things outside music.
If you had an opportunity to play anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
To play anywhere in the world, I would think.
Yes.
Let me think. Probably the Royal Albert Hall in London.
Why is that?
It's such a beautiful building and long-standing, famous. Anybody who's played there.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years, or where do you want to be?
I'm actually fairly happy where I am. I don't have any particular ambitions. I don't have a bucket list for music. I just want to continue enjoying music, releasing music if and when I can. And if this track goes well and people appreciate it, then I'll be very happy.
If you had one message to tell the world or your fans or anyone that might be listening, what would you tell them?
Be true to yourself.
If someone was to write a song about you, what do you think that they take the time to write about, Alan?
I haven't a clue.
You don't have any idea.
I have no idea whatsoever.
So if people want to learn more about you on social media or anything, where can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook. They can find me on LinkedIn. That would be. They can also find my photography on crozierpics.com.
So kind of walk me through a typical day of Alan Crozier.
A typical day is checking in on email, checking in on the office stuff, walking the dog, and maybe going out on a photo shoot. And then later in the day, I might sit down, pick up the guitar and see if I can work something out.
If you had an opportunity to open a show for any artist, who would you choose and why?
Sorry?
If you had an opportunity to open a show for any artist, who would you choose and why?
Mark Knopfler. Probably one of the best guitarists I've ever heard. In fact,
And
not
why is that?
probably. Definitely one of the best guitarists I've ever heard.
I like your confidence on that one. What do you think you'd be doing right now if it wasn't for music? Like, if music wasn't an option, what do you think you'd be doing?
Out taking photographs. Scenery.
Right, because you do.
Yeah. Landscapes, people. They're my main interests as far as photography is concerned.
How long have you been doing photography for?
Oh, about 30 years.
Wow. Okay, so you're definitely experienced. If you had an opportunity to take a picture of one thing in particular, do you know what it would be?
I don't think so. There are just so many things to choose from. You could spend your life in, one country and take pictures. No, there's no particular thing. Whatever it is, you have to try to find something unique for you in that photograph, because probably it's been photographed by other people in the past. So you have to find your own way of expressing that.
Absolutely. That's so true, because you don't want to copyright someone else's photo.
Sure.
Same thing with music.
Same thing. Very hard with music. There are only 9 notes.
Absolutely. Did you have someone that kind of inspired you to start doing music? If so, who?
I would say it probably was the Beatles.
Why the Beatles?
I think because at the time they were so dominant. They were all over, and many of the tunes were very melodic, catchy, had great hooks, and that inspired people to pick up guitar or whatever and try to emulate them.
Do you have a hidden talent? If so, what would it be?
Now, I think any talents I've had or have been exposed. I don't think there's anything hidden.
Exposed to the world, you know?
That's it, yeah. What you see is what you get.
There you go. Some people like to hide things, and some people, that's true. You see what you get. Wonderful. Well, Alan, is there anything that I forgot to mention that you would like to mention?
No, just tune in and listen to Die Young as late as you can, which is a killer tune.
Alan Crozier, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Kayden Gordon Show, today's Best Country Mix. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kayden. All the best.